So today's video, guys, is going to be all about the Stage 2 upgrade that I did on the Road Glide Special back in February of 2023. Guys, my name is Rick and this is the HDVIBE channel. Spend a little bit of time with me today and I'm going to talk all about my personal experience of having a Stage 2 upgrade on my Road Glide Special and really answer a lot of the questions I got on the two other videos that I put out on that. If you haven't seen those, I'll have a playlist on the Road Glide Special at the end that you can go back and check those out. But just for a reminder, I did do these videos. The first one was comparing the Stage 2 on the 114 to a Stage 1 on the 117. And the other one was really all the ins and outs of what a Stage 2 upgrade is and what I actually did on the Road Glide Special. So let's get into answering a bunch of your questions based upon my experience. And we'll get into it right after this. So that's right, guys. I've had the Stage 2 upgrade on the Road Glide Special now for about 6 or 7 months at the time that this video will be released. And I put just about 2,000, just slightly under 2,000 miles on the bike since I've done that. Don't hold that against me. If you remember, I've got a new bike in the interim. I think a couple months after I did that upgrade, I got the Street Glide ST, so I put about 2,200 or 2,300 miles on that. And I've been riding the Street Glide CVO, so I put thousands of miles on that as well. So between all the three bikes, I've done my riding. I ride almost every day. But what I want to do today is to actually answer a lot of the questions that I've gotten on those two videos that I referred to earlier, based upon my experience now having had the Stage 2 upgrade in the bike for a number of months and thousands of miles. So the first question that I got a lot and probably a little flack for was, well, you did a Stage 2 upgrade. Why did you use the crappy Screamin Eagle parts, cam, tuner, all of that? Well, that's a pretty simple answer. For me, the bike was under warranty when I had the work done, and subsequently I had the ESP that adds another 3 years warranty onto that bike. So Screamin Eagle really was the only way to go. Now the other saying, well, you made a big mistake because you could get a lot more power out of that if you went with some other cam, some other tuner, blah, blah, blah. Correct. No question. But even this Screamin Eagle kit that I put in, and again, go back to the video that I go through all the components, but basically it's the torque cam, the Screamin Eagle 447 cam that's designed specifically for the Milwaukee 8 engines. And for me, it's more than enough performance. It actually, in my opinion, probably runs as well, if not better, than a 117 with a Stage 1. Now, I can't compare that to a 117 with a Stage 2, but from my perspective, I get a lot more torque right on the low end with this 447 cam, even with the EPA Screamin Eagle tuner. And just for reference, again, I have a ventilator, a breather on this, I have stock head pipes, and I have Reinhardt DBX45 pipes, slip-ons on the back end, getting some air out of there. So, you know, is it the most performance-oriented build for this bike? Probably not, but at some point when this does go out of warranty, and again, I still have about 3 more years on this, I could get a different tuner and get a non-EPA tune on it and probably get a lot more performance out of it. So I did in the other video comparison of the 114 Stage 2 to the 117 Stage 1 and kind of compared the numbers and what they were. And at the end of the day, they're almost the same, a 117 Stage 1 versus a 114 Stage 2. So another question I got was, why did I change out the oil pump? Because this is a 2020 and newer, it's a 2021. So essentially, you wouldn't have to change out the oil pump necessarily, or even the cam plate, because if you have a 2020 and newer bike, that oil pump has been upgraded by Harley Davidson. They went through a number of iterations when they went to the Milwaukee 8s. They had some issues with those oil pumps early on. Again, the Milwaukee 8 came out in 2017, and it was sort of an iteration of changes and upgrades on the oil pump. 2, I think they finally hit the sweet spot in 2020, and mine was a 2021. So did I have to change it out, and did I have to change the cam plate out? Probably not. But as I kind of thought through it, to me it's sort of like having a belt and your suspenders on. It's just that extra peace of mind in my case. But if you have a 2020 and newer, you don't have to use that oil pump. You don't have to put that cam plate in there. But do change out your inner cam bearing. And I will say I made a mistake on an earlier video. I actually put the wrong part number for that cam bearing. So I went back to my build sheet, and I will actually list what that cam bearing is, and I fess up to it. I made a mistake. So another question I've gotten on this is, how does the engine run? Does it run hot or hotter than it did before you did the Stage 2 upgrade? I don't have a thermometer, but I will tell you, I ride this bike in stop and go traffic when I commute to work. I ride it on back roads and twisties when I ride with my group. I've ridden it in 100-degree weather. I've ridden it in cold weather. And to me, I really, my right leg doesn't feel really any difference in the amount of heat that's coming off of that bike. I do have the mid-frame deflectors on there. I do have the ETIMS enabled, so if the engine does the heads do get too hot, it will shut down one of the cylinders. So that's an option you can go with. But my experience, I don't really feel any additional heat because I have this Stage 2 upgrade on it. Now, with the tune, again, I use the Harley Davidson Pro Street tuner, the old version. So that gives you a little better air-fuel mixture ratio, which hopefully should even maybe cool the bike down just a little bit so that it is more comfortable to ride. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the only way to get that heat off the ride of the bike, no matter if you have it stock, Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, or Stage 4, is to get that catalytic converter out of your head pipe. And more, it's getting harder and harder to find because the EPA is now cracking down on some of the big exhaust manufacturers, and they're not gonna, in the not too distant future, they're not gonna be able to sell head pipes without catalytic converters. So if you're looking for that option and you want a 2-into-1 into 2, I would suggest go out and find it now, because that's going to be changing in the not too distant future. So another question I've gotten is, how is your fuel economy? So I think a lot of that depends on how you ride the bike, right? So I generally run my bikes, all three of them, in higher RPMs. Some people get on the highway, kicking into 6th gear, they're cruising at 2,500, 2,700 RPMs or so. Me personally, I don't like to run in that low of RPMs. I'm generally running closer to 3,000, over 3,000. A lot of times I'm on the highway, I run at highway speeds in 4th or 5th gear. So as you can imagine, my RPMs are well over 3,000. So my fuel economy will suffer. Having said that, I generally, when I answered that question in the comments, was saying I was getting between 38 and 40 miles per gallon. So there's a lot of factors. Here in Missouri, in the St. Louis area, we have a lot of pollution control additives into our fuel. We also have a lot of ethanol. I think all the fuel sold in the St. Louis area has about 10% ethanol in it, which is not great and not ideal, and you don't get the best burn. I'll tell you, I was in South Dakota just a few weeks ago, and I had the Street Glide CVO. That bike, again, I would say I average probably 38 to 40 miles a gallon, depending on how I'm riding, where I'm riding, those sort of things. I was getting over 47 miles a gallon because I was running 91 octane with no ethanol. It was pure gasoline, and I don't know that they have a lot of additives for pollution control in South Dakota because it's wide open space. So your fuel that you use is going to make a big difference and how you ride. Now, I will say, just before shooting this video, I actually did a gas station run, and I'll show some pictures up here. I actually did a gas station run, and my fuel economy was over 44 miles per gallon, and that was on the Stage 2. And again, I also did some volunteer work with my group where we were actually engaging kids and other adults in motorcycles and riding motorcycles, and we had a lot of kids starting up my bike, revving the engine on that tank that I just filled up. And so my fuel economy probably was hurt a little bit by that, because they were revving the engines full throttle, wanting to hear all the noise, and they're all getting excited. And the engine was idling, sitting still and not getting any mileage. So 44 plus with that, and I was driving in stop and go traffic, highway traffic, in the rain, on that tank of gas before I filled up. So pretty good, and I probably was getting a little bit more. It actually said my range on a 6-gallon tank was over 300 miles after I filled up. So at the end of the day, I am very, very pleased with the Stage 2 upgrade. I really don't have any complaints. The bike runs great. Obviously, I'm getting very good fuel economy. Could I have gone non-Screamin Eagle? I could have, but that would have impacted my warranty. So yes, I'm giving up some performance. It is the torque cam, so it runs pretty quick. Good throttle response right off the line. If you're leaving a red light, it's very good from that perspective. And overall, you know, did I spend some extra money on some parts? Yes, I did. It was probably for that oil pump and that camshaft plate kit, probably $700 extra that I probably didn't need to spend, but I did because I just wanted that extra peace of mind. So overall, very pleased. If you're wanting to keep your bike in warranty and you do want to do a Stage 2, go back and check out my video that I'll put right here. And you can see all of the components went into that, with the exception of that cam bearing, inner cam bearing, which I put earlier the part number for that and corrected my mistake. So guys, if you have any other questions about the Stage 2, leave them down in the comments section. I'll get back to you. I answer all my questions. And if you've been new here or you've been around and haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button right over here. That really helps out the channel. The channel is growing. I don't ask for anything. Subscriptions are free. So if you would do that, I'd appreciate it. Also, give this a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. If you like this type of content, again, my channel is all about tips, tricks, rides, reviews, and installs on Harley Davidson touring motorcycles. And I have over 170, maybe even 175 videos right now on all of those things. Most of it's all around these Harley Davidson motorcycles. And I got some really, really neat stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. So as you may know, if you've seen some of my just prior videos, I was in Sturgis. So we're going to have a whole Sturgis series coming up on not the party, but where the rides are and how cool those are. So I think that's going to be probably a 4-part series, maybe a 5. We'll see how that comes together. I've got a really cool item I want to show you early next week on a way to help you if you're doing some wrenching on your bike yourself. This tool will actually let you peer into that engine and find some things that you may not be able to see without this. So guys, with that, I want to leave you with this thought. Life is short. Get out and ride the bike. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.